Ever see Tom Cruise with a big pie plate medal? He got a medal for being the most awesome guy ever.
He did?
Yeah, from Scientology. And he salutes the photo of a science fiction writer. Bro,
No,
you've never seen those
dessert.
Scientology awards?
Nuh-uh. That's crazy.
They love to give awards.
That's like
over
the
there.
Golden Globes or whatever.
Yeah, same thing.
You know? It really is.
They give themselves awards for being the most awesome people.
I mean, it's all fucking ridiculous.
Weird.
Tom Cruise might be Hollywood royalty, but even kings have cracks in the crown. And according to Joe Rogan, those cracks aren't from dangerous movie stunts. They're from something far stranger. Rogan has been side-eyeing Cruise for years, and when he talks about Scientology, his tone shifts from curious to downright clown mode. He doesn't tiptoe around the subject. He laughs, questions, and sometimes outright roasts the beliefs Cruise supposedly lives by. And the wild part? Rogan claims that what we see from Cruise might not even be the real Tom, just a carefully programmed character scripted by an organization that thrives on control.
Crazy, right?
Bro, you want a Mission Impossible guy? You want that guy? That's what you get.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't get a normal dude who's that good at acting. You get a fucking crazy person
Who's that good at being himself?
with a pie plate around his neck, a golden pie plate for being the most awesome guy ever.
It
And
probably
he salutes a science fiction author who's, by the way, one of the worst writers in the history of writing.
Elron.
And let's keep it real. Anytime someone mentions Tom Cruise and Scientology in the same sentence, the room gets tense. You don't know if you should whisper, blink twice, or pretend you didn't hear it. Cruise is one of the church's most powerful poster boys, and whether you agree with him or not, there's no denying he treats the religion like it's the ultimate operating system upgrade. But Rogan isn't buying the deluxe spiritual package. He's not afraid of Hollywood elites, and when he opens his mouth, it's like he's handing out smoke for free. Before we go full throttle into the madness, here's a quick question. Do you think Tom Cruise's beliefs are part of who he genuinely is? Or is he trapped in something bigger than himself? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tap the like button. It's the easiest way to hype this story and tell YouTube you're ready for more jaw-dropping Hollywood secrets. According to Rogan, Cruise doesn't operate like a normal celebrity. He's got that polished smile, the perfect posture, the unblinking stare. It's like someone wrote his emotions in code. Rogan joked once that Cruise acts like he's trying to convince everyone he's not a space warrior on a mission. And honestly, once he said that, people couldn't unsee it. Suddenly, Cruise's charm didn't feel charming. It felt rehearsed. It's not that Cruise hasn't earned respect. He jumps out of planes, hangs off skyscrapers, and literally risks his life for movies. But Rogan argues that behind those stunts is someone who follows rules that don't make sense to regular humans. In Rogan's eyes, Cruise lives in a belief system where logic takes a vacation and never comes back. And that's where Scientology enters the scene. A religion that, according to Rogan, feels like a sci-fi movie that forgot to end.
You know, he would like ask you questions about like, has one of your pets died? Like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, he'd hold his e-meter and it would just, I'm like, how does this work? Like, what is actually making this happen? You know, I had all these questions that he had no answers for.
One of Rogan's biggest issues is Scientology's attitude toward mental health. Cruise once famously criticized people who took medication for psychological struggles. But Rogan wasn't having it. He practically exploded, saying it's wild to criticize something millions depend on. To him, dismissing medication isn't a belief. It's reckless. Rogan claimed Cruise didn't just cross a line, he reversed over it and waved from the rearview mirror. That infamous Matt Lauer interview from years ago still haunts Cruise's legacy. Rogan called it a meltdown disguised as enlightenment. Cruise spoke like he had a secret manual to the universe and everyone else was too uneducated to understand. Rogan found that ridiculous, like Cruise was delivering a performance instead of a perspective. To Rogan, the whole moment screamed, "Are you hearing yourself, bro?"
L. Ron Hubbard wrote more fiction than any human being that's ever lived. He wrote more things that were not true, more published fiction than any human being in the history of all human beings. That guy, the guy that created Scientology. And you know how he did it? It was all terrible. He never wrote a second draft. Everything was just nonsense.
One hit wonder?
One hit wonder.
Just out. That's kind of brave, though.
Typing. Brave. He was nuts. He was out of his mind.
What makes this story spicier is Rogan's theory that Scientology doesn't just guide Cruise's beliefs. It produces him. Not as an actor, but like a living advertisement. Rogan painted a picture of Cruise as a spiritual influencer, except instead of selling supplements, he's selling enlightenment through an organization that critics compare to a high-level club with clearance codes. Rogan also questioned how Cruise can be surrounded by so much adoration, yet still appear disconnected from authenticity. He joked that Cruise's smile could be trademarked. It's that consistent. But that's Rogan's whole point. When someone's expression never changes, are we seeing sincerity or programming? Is Cruise excited, or is his brain buffering? Scientology's leaders reportedly adore Cruise, treating him like the chosen one. Rogan found that funny in itself. Imagine walking into a building and everyone looks at you like you're the hero of a prophecy. To Rogan, it sounded less like religion and more like a fandom with a uniform.
And once he started a religion, that's when things took off. That's when started making money. He gave himself a bunch of awards too. You ever see he wore a jacket and he had like all these awards on his chest that he had given himself? Give themselves awards for being the most awesome people.
It's all fucking ridiculous.
Weird.
What makes this story spicier is Rogan's theory that Scientology doesn't just guide Cruise's beliefs. It produces him. Not as an actor, but like a living advertisement. Rogan painted a picture of Cruise as a spiritual influencer, except instead of selling supplements, he's selling enlightenment through an organization that critics compare to a high-level club with clearance codes. Rogan also questioned how Cruise can be surrounded by so much adoration, yet still appear disconnected from authenticity. He joked that Cruise's smile could be trademarked. It's that consistent. But that's Rogan's whole point. When someone's expression never changes, are we seeing sincerity or programming? Is Cruise excited, or is his brain buffering? Scientology's leaders reportedly adore Cruise, treating him like the chosen one. Rogan found that funny in itself. Imagine walking into a building and everyone looks at you like you're the hero of a prophecy. To Rogan, it sounded less like religion and more like a fandom with a uniform.
So, look at that
These are
pipeline.
the times now.
Look at this.
Okay? These are the times we will all remember. Were you there? What did you do? I think you know that I am there for you. And I do care so very, very, very.
To Rogan, the wild part isn't what Cruise believes. It's how sure he sounds when he talks about it. Rogan said Cruise speaks with the confidence of someone who thinks he's cracked the universe's Wi-Fi password. And when you look at Cruise's interviews through that lens, it's hard not to agree. Rogan questioned why Cruise never challenges Scientology publicly. He wondered if Cruise avoids conflict because he's afraid of losing something: status, power, identity, or maybe protection. Rogan joked that it's easier to escape an action movie villain than walk out of Scientology. Critics have claimed Scientology isolates its biggest stars. Rogan didn't confirm that, but he hinted he wouldn't be surprised. He said Hollywood already runs on illusion, and Scientology turns it into a full-time job. When fame mixes with faith, it's hard to tell where the actor ends and the doctrine begins. Rogan made fun of how Scientology ranks its followers in levels, almost like spiritual achievements. He compared it to unlocking badges, except instead of Master Explorer, you get Fully Enlightened Human. He joked that Cruise must have every badge by now, possibly even the secret ending. The real reason Rogan talks about Cruise isn't hatred, it's fascination. Cruise represents a type of celebrity who's invincible, unshakable, and dangerously certain. Rogan said, talking to Cruise might feel like arguing with your phone's voice assistant, polite, confident, and completely immune to logic. Scientology insists it helps people unlock potential. Rogan questioned if that potential includes a sense of humor. He said Cruise seems like a man who's forgotten how to laugh at himself. When your beliefs are sacred and your image is flawless, laughter becomes a liability. Rogan didn't just criticize Cruise, he challenged Scientology itself. He wondered why a religion that claims universal truth hides advanced teachings behind levels like a members-only VIP club. Rogan joked, "It's the only belief system where enlightenment comes with a password change." And the irony? Cruise's films are about breaking free, escaping systems, defying control, choosing destiny. Yet Rogan argued Cruise may be the one who's trapped. He said Cruise is an action hero who can save the world but might not know how to save himself. Rogan ended one rant by saying, "Scientology feels like a story Hollywood rejected for being too unrealistic. It has aliens, secrets, levels, power structures, basically everything except a movie trailer." To him, Cruise doesn't follow a religion. He stars in one. Whether Rogan's jokes go too far depends on who you ask. Some see him as fearless. Others say he's poking a bear that bites back. But Rogan doesn't care. He built a career on speaking his mind, and when he sees something that doesn't add up, he's going to call it out loudly. Cruise has never responded directly to Rogan's comments. Maybe he doesn't care, or maybe he refuses to give the criticism oxygen. Either way, silence has become part of Cruise's mystique. He doesn't argue, he ascends. And that's the hook that keeps people obsessed. Rogan isn't exposing a scandal, he's exposing a character. A man who's confident beyond reason, loyal beyond explanation, and mysterious beyond measure. Cruise doesn't need PR. His beliefs advertise themselves. In the end, Rogan says, Cruise isn't evil, he's unreachable. A spiritual celebrity floating somewhere above logic, powered by a religion critics call extreme, and followers call salvation. Rogan can joke all he wants, but the real punchline is this: nobody knows if Cruise laughs when the camera stops. And that's exactly why this story isn't ending anytime soon. As long as Cruise keeps smiling like he knows something the rest of us don't, Rogan will keep talking, and Hollywood will keep watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into celebrity beliefs, bizarre public moments, and the strange mix of power and faith, hit the subscribe button and hype this channel. Comment, like, and share so the algorithm knows you want more explosive Hollywood stories. Until next time, stay curious, because in this town, the truth is never what it seems.